So, anyways, here's the results of that match. It was a Master Badge Clue 2, if I can talk. A spotter, fighter, Master Gunner, fire for effect, and we got a Confederate. We got a Bond out of the deal. Pretty good. I shot pretty much, I believe, all standard rounds. We got a WN8 for that match, was 5,358. And we did 4,040 damage. And this is a perfect example on how not to play the Italian tanks with the, I don't want to say auto loader. We'll say the auto loader mechanism. This is a auto reloader, as my son says. This is a prime example, really, on how not to play it. If I would have played it differently, let's say if it was a single shot, or I would have been able to get it loaded right off the bat, I probably would have done more like about 6,000 damage. The problem I ran into is I pushed forward to get lights right off the bat, come up over the hill, tanks coming down, took a shot. And then I'm waiting 11, it was 11 point some seconds for my first round to get loaded. Let me see if it shows over here now. Not seeing it. Maybe it was, I'll have to watch really during the replay, but it's like almost, I think 10 seconds, 11 seconds, something for the first round to get loaded. And then I saw another tank, took a shot. I didn't wait for a second round to fully load. And I kept doing that, and as you could see, my DPM was really kind of bad. And if I would have waited to let the magazine completely load right off the bat, I probably would have had done, like I said, more like around 6,000 damage, because I would have got a lot more shots off. But the problem I run into, and you'll have this happen too, and you got to make a choice. When at first the match first kicked off, I pushed towards the front there. I got all those lights on those tanks, and your option at that point is I had one round loaded. Do you back off, continue loading, and get a full magazine, or at least, let's say, three loaded, and then that way you can take a shot and it's loading that third shell versus the first shell, which is a longer load time. Even doing that, if I would have loaded round number 1, 2, got the third round loaded, and then taken that shot with the third round, and then waited and loaded that third round, it would have been a lot quicker load time, because as the rounds get closer and closer to filling the magazine, it takes less and less time to load that next round. So I didn't do that, and it would just put my DPM right in the trash. But anyways, so we're going to go over what I did here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll watch the replay. I normally do the replay first, then this part, but I'm doing a little bit different because I wanted to kind of point out to you where I went wrong, what I did wrong, and try not to do that. And as you can see, I still did a lot of damage, still got a lot of shots off, but I could have done a whole lot better if I would have waited and loaded that first initial whole magazine. But the discipline it takes is just so hard. When you see a tank sitting in front of you and he's just sitting there, and you know you can shoot him and do damage, you of course want to take that shot and do it. But anyway, so the AMX-30, we hit him one time for 57 hit points, finished him off, and we spotted him, and he got hit for 232 upon a spot him, and we originally spotted him. The Object 430, excuse me, we hit him 2 times for 604, finished him off, and he got hit for 134 upon us spotting him. The T-95, I came up behind him, and I started getting shot by the P-44, I think it was the Pantera there, and which ended up, I believe, finishing me off. But that T-95 was basically holding our whole team up because no one could flank around him. I was in a perfect spot to flank around him, but that P-44 kind of, I think, knew what I was doing when all of a sudden I disappeared versus coming up to the right side of him. And all of a sudden he seen me going left and I disappeared. I think he knew what I was doing. He come down the hill and was able to get shots on me, which, yeah, I got a couple shots, or at least 2 shots there. So I did 2 shots of damage in the T-95 for 798. I did bounce one of his rounds because when I was coming up, I did a maneuver, came down, killed a couple of their tanks, and I was hauling butt out of there. I was dodging and weaving, and he took a shot, and it actually just knocked my track off. It was a premium round too. So when my son was like, "Oh, you got real lucky." Now, yeah, I did. The T-49, we hit him once for 351. and knocked out his track. The MX M449, we hit him one time for 391. The T2065, we hit him one time for 313. Knocked off his track, and he got hit for 266 upon us destroying his track. T34, we got a shot on him for 391. The P44 Pantera, we hit him two times for 695. We bounced one of his rounds, said unpenetrating. Didn't say damage block, so he probably not. I think that's where he knocked my track off when I was going after the T95. And upon the spotting him, he got hit for 244. The Progetto 46, we hit him one time for 176, finished him off. The other Progetto 46, we hit him one time for 264, finished him off, and knocked out his track. And then the Scorpion G, we spotted him, and he got hit for 947 upon us spotting him, and we originally spotted him. So we had a good match all in all, but as you could see, one shot, two shots, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. Well, those were kills though. So, but the reason I was getting a lot of one shots is because that was towards the beginning of the match where I wasn't getting the magazine fully loaded, and so I would see it, it'd light up, and I would shoot. It's really hard to discipline yourself to see a tank pop up in front of you and then to not shoot it, to back off and wait till you're fully loaded. It is really hard to do, especially for me, because I don't like waiting. We did the most damage at 4,040, and we got 4 kills and a base experience of 1,132. We had 20 shots, 14 hit, 13 pen for 4,040 damage. 2,394 of that is from a distance of more than 300 meters. We got hit 8 times, 6 pen, 2 bounced. Damage blocked by armor says 0 because the rounds that hit me that didn't pen just knocked my track off. Spotted 2, damage 10, destroyed 4. Damage with our assistance was 1,823 because we did a lot of spotting coming up around the back side there. And we shot all standard rounds. I believe I don't even think I shot a standard round. I think it was all or excuse me, we didn't shoot any premium rounds. I believe I shot all standard rounds, and so we made 28,925 credits. So all in all, it was a great match, but I wanted to show this, showing that the discipline that you really need to not pull that trigger to get the magazine fully loaded. It's not like your standard autoloader where you wait 34 seconds, you get fully loaded, and it doesn't make a difference if you shoot once or shoot all 6 rounds. With this one, you shoot once, you want to wait for that round to reload. It gives you a better DPM because it's less time to load that very last round once you're fully loaded. The initial round takes the longest, a little less for the next round, a little less for the next round, and the least for the very last round. Actually, this one gets 3 rounds, I believe. Let me look. Yeah, I guess 3 rounds, and there's 3-second delay in between shots, which I really don't like. It does kind of force you in a way to sometimes hold a shot and get a reload in there, because with a 3-second delay, you don't want to pop up and just take a shot and then sit there, because if you're sitting there for 3 seconds, you might get, you're gonna get tore up. You might get hit by 3 or 4 other tanks, so you really got to watch it. But yeah, so if you want to hold on for a minute, we'll go ahead and do a replay for you. And this is the way to not play this tank. You really got to let it completely load so that you get that better DPM. So I'm trying to show you on how not to play this. So if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll be right back. Alrighty, so here we are on my favorite map in the whole wide world, Glacier. Not. But anyways, we are in the Standard B. And what I'm going to demonstrate here is on the proper way not to shoot this tank, proper way not to use this gun. This is, well, the improper way to use this gun. Your best bet is to let it get fully loaded so you get a lot higher DPM. And you're going to see it's 12.94 seconds for the very first shell. So every time I pull the trigger without that second shell loaded, it's got 12.94 seconds. So now it's loading the next shell. Now there's 3 seconds in between shells, so that's why it's showing the 3. But if you watch right here, you can see the timer for each individual shell loading after that initial one. So that was 9 seconds and then 9 seconds. So I'm getting up here, I'm almost on the 3rd shell. And so I hit hit the AMX M449, and I shoot the rock, and I'm not waiting for it to load. I've got, as you can see, I'm down to one shell. As soon as it loads, I shoot again, and now I gotta wait for another 12.94 seconds. This is what a lot of people don't understand when you play this, is if you don't wait for those rounds to fully get loaded, and now I gotta wait another 12.94. So this makes it your damage per minute just pretty bad. I mean, imagine having a single shot. Turn this down a little bit. Imagine having a single shot tank with a 12.94 second reload. Basically, my DPM for a medium, any other medium, my reload would be about 6 to 7 seconds. My reload right now is I'm getting the DPM of a heavy tank. You know, 12.94 seconds for a reload on any tank is usually a heavy tank or a tank destroyer. So not letting it completely load those, well, this one gets 3 rounds, it really messes your DPM up. So like after you take a shot, you want to wait for that round to reload and then shoot. Like right now, I should be waiting for it to completely reload, which it did. But you can see I'm not waiting for the rounds here to reload. See, now I'm going through the very whole reload mechanism again. So the first round gets reloaded, that one, and that one. So once you get that third shell, in this one, it was 3 shells. In the tier 10, you get 4 shells. Once you get that very last shell load, you take a shot. You want to wait and watch that shell to get reloaded. Then it'll keep your DPM, because the reload for that one shell is right around, I think, 6 seconds. We'll see here. Oh, it's actually 9.4 seconds for one shell. That still seems kind of high for a single shell. I wonder if I'm gonna watch, because that, I don't know, maybe is it 9.4? That really kind of sucks. Huh. Yeah, so this is actually 9.4 seconds for the reload. We come around here, we take him out, so that was 2 of them that were holding us up and lighting us. Now the problem I run into is I'm just auto-locking, but I'm also trying to not get shot. So now I'm thinking I got myself down here, now I gotta wiggle my butt out of here without getting shot, and I get hit by the T95 here in a second. So the MX-30 just hit me, the T95 just hit me and actually just knocked my track off. Yeah, so each shell is I think it was 9.1 seconds. I thought it was actually a lot quicker. So the DPM on this one really isn't super good to begin with. Because 9.4 seconds for one shell, once you're past that initial shell. The first shell was taken, what was it, 11 points? Almost 12 seconds, or yeah, about 12 seconds to load that one shell. So once I take and fire the shot, what I should be doing is watching this right here. Seeing I'm not waiting. I'm also trying to finish those guys off, so now I'm empty again. And so I get hit, and it was really nice of this T25 or T26E5 to you know, block me from getting back, but you know, he's got 1 hit point left, so he wants to keep his gun in the game. I can understand that, but don't block me from backing up. You know, that's just not this is not good gameplay. You know, he's from 200 IQ. See his clan up there. You know, he knows better than to do stuff like that. Basically, he's just trying to keep his gun in the game. Here I screwed up and I didn't auto-lock. So I missed 2. Then I auto-lock, get the 3rd shot, but I should have auto-locked right off the bat. If I would have done that, I would have definitely hit that tank right off the bat instead of missing 2 shots. Now, I've got a couple options here. I could go after the charioteer, but I'm not sure where he's at. He was last spotted right here, and with me being that close to, you know, where he was last spotted, more than likely he would have been spotted again, so he's not probably setting there. I could go up here after the 44 Pantera, or I can go after the T95. I'm thinking I'm going after the biggest threat, T95. Now, that Pantera, the last time I was shooting at him was over here. He saw me, I think, coming up this way, knew to come back down this way to get shots on me. Now, the T95 being in the position he's in a very good spot. Keep an eye, you keep seeing me look to the back is because right here I should have stopped, just put my rounds in and called it good. Because that round there just ended up missing and that Pantera shooting me in the butt. So I just want to get my next round into the T95 because I knew I was going to die probably, and I did. The Charioteer ended up hitting me. Where in the heck was he at? So the Charioteer was actually back here somewhere. That sneaky little rascal. So if the Charioteer wouldn't have been back there, I probably would have lived because the P-44 ran out of rounds because he hit me. One, at least two, maybe he probably hit me with all 3 rounds, but yeah, there's that Charioteer, and he was able to plug me and finish me off. But the good thing was when I started shooting the T-95 in the butt, he went right off that right off this hill here, and you can see he ended up rolling himself over. I'm gonna get there so you can see it. Yeah, he ended up rolling himself over, and then he's just an easy target to shoot. So I guess, you know, me pushing like that worked out in the long run because it made the T-95 freak out, not know what's going on. He thought he was just going to be clipped out in the rear end. He was getting shot. You know, one round hits him. He starts pulling forward, hits with the second round. He's like, I got to get out of here. He pulls off the hill, and he ended up rolling his tank over, and basically that pretty much won it for the team because as soon as he was on his back, he was like a turtle. There was nothing that the team, you know, he could do. He was just a set and duck, and they ended up tearing him up and finishing him off. So that kind of worked out with me coming this way. I ended up getting killed because of that, but it also knocked the T-95 out and pretty much won it for the team too. But yeah, so that's kind of the way you do not want to play these type of auto loading mechanisms because if you don't wait, the reload for the first shell was like almost 12 seconds, I think it was. And if you keep shooting, your reload is always going to be 12 seconds, which is a reload of like a heavy tank. That's why heavy tanks have kind of crappy damage per minute because it's got such a long reload. So you really want to wait for that whole magazine to load and shoot just that one shell and then let it reload for 9 seconds. Unless, like, per se, when I was shooting up at these guys up in the trees, you know, I knew that if I dumped my magazine into them, I would finish them off. So I did, just to get that gun out of the game, and then I would wait for that full reload. So, anyways, I hope it kind of taught you a little bit on how not to use this gun. It's kind of the purpose of why I did, is to show you just how you don't want to really run this gun. You really want to let the magazine load, or let it load completely. So, and then take a shot and let that one shell reload, and only dump your whole magazine or make multiple shots when you know you're going to be able to make the kill shots on a tank and get him out of the game. So anyways, I hope that helped you. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.